This week, I hadn't much to talk about, and as time kept passing by, I became more and more frustrated. Some days, my thoughts and ideas for these videos come on very quickly and at odd hours of the day or night, but this week has not been so kind to me. Still, when I think of why I want an interesting topic to talk about, a little insecurity floats up to my mind. I want to be important. Yet, I find it incredibly difficult to define what importance is. If I name famous people, past or present, it would be easy to identify what importance they brought to our societies. For me, these include abolitionists, revolutionaries, and changemakers. People like Sam Cooke, Nina Simone, Robin Williams, and honestly, even Jim Carrey. These are the individuals that stick in my mind. They were creators and visionaries that dedicated their waking hours to their craft, all without losing who they are, and they are all different, and that's my favorite thing. Even though Sam Cooke and Nina Simone were both Motown singers, they had their own voice, particular to their own style of music. Robin and Jim were both comedians, but they have their own vocal style as well. Jim Carrey is a particular one in this list because his ideals and how he perceives this life are very profound and relatable. He has highlighted the importance of importance and how that can impact our well-being. Although I want to be remembered for my importance, I don't want this to consume my life. I want to maintain dedication to my creativity, but I don't want to solely define myself by how I afford olive oil every now and then. I believe we are more than what we do. We are not just made up of how we spend our time. The reason behind why we do what we do is just as important. The beings we spend our time with, voluntarily that is also just as important. For example, I love to spend my time near trees and water. They are my favorite elements that exist outside of me. They bring me peace, calm, and clarity. Plus, I can spend my time feeling like I am in a real-life nature ambiance, or I can pretend that I am a warrior on the hunt for a new dwelling somewhere beyond me. Even more so, I can invite Anthony to join me on my adventures, or I can rest with him and Bambi for an hour or two. For me, importance lies not only in what I create, but in the kindred spirits I can peacefully exist with while I create, while I plan my next book or practice performing my next spoken word. Importance also lies in why my dedication is towards these forms of creativity. Of course, I enjoy the process, but above all, I love creating connections with others through storytelling. I want to hear your stories. How you became who you are, what accomplishments you made, what regrets you have, who you miss in your daily life, the profound and the lighthearted. These are the stories that change me, my perspectives, and my way of living. This video will likely be a reminder of that. Importance is up to you. Think about and record your reasons for how you spend your waking hours every day and with whom. Why are these beings your top choice for existing with? Think about how they may have shifted your perspective or way of life. I hope this may help you understand your own importance and remind you what truly is important to you. Lately, I've been thinking about getting more into painting fast instead of just getting in every single detail. Now, usually, in my life and in my experience, I have always been a hand or finger painter. A lot of what I do it comes directly from my hands. This is not like a romantic way of saying it or anything. It's just the truth. I have tried to use paintbrushes, and I do use them for the most part, but usually I use them for texture or for making something look appealing. Sorry, my dog is working her way at a frozen treat right now. Anyway, I usually use paintbrushes for texture, for appearance, to catch the eye. Like, there are some strokes on even this painting, and some techniques that I use with paintbrushes are not your typical blending, making things look smooth. I am not a fan of paintings that look like it was printed from the computer. I can't do it. If I see that it is a realistic portrait or a realistic landscape, for me, it's like, wow, amazing, you figured out the formula. If you are an artist, you know there is a formula for making things look real life, and you can follow the formula every single time, and what you create comes out realistic every single time. For me, I started off thinking, well, not started, but I got to a point where I thought that realistic paintings are what people want to see. But that's not true. There are people who want to see realistic paintings, and there are those of us who want to see a lot of different things. And there's a lot of things in the world that you can be doing for creativity. For example, you could be cutting up paper to be making handmade paper, or you can use that handmade paper, like what I will be doing soon enough, to apply to your canvases for texture. I just really feel like there's a lot of ways to make a painting look fantastic, but that is not what's important, for me anyhow. For me, the most important thing is being able to create and feeling tranquil while painting, while creating. Like, the only thing to really frustrate me, or to, dare I say, piss me off, is there's a cat in my backyard, is my painting, my process. I should get frustrated with my process, and if I get mad and I throw paint at my painting, it is what it is. I'm going to work with it, and that's part of my technique for painting fast, is to just throw paint, just to put shapes in random areas, or not necessarily even random, but if I want a certain mood in one area, I'm going to put some shapes there, and if I want a certain mood in another area, I'm going to put certain shapes there. I'm going to put certain textures, certain colors. But I don't want my focus to be like, oh, the most important thing is for me to be the best artist there ever was. The most important thing is for me to make more money than any artist that has ever existed. Both of those goals are definitely achievable. But I think that in the process of achieving them, I will lose myself. I will lose my sense of self. I will lose my peace, and I'll lose my drive for creativity. There's a movie that we watched on the plane once. If I ever see it, I will write it up here. It was kind of creepy. I didn't really like it because the vibe was extremely eerie. But the guy was stuck in... It was one character, one location, and he was stuck in I guess you could call it like a hotel or a loft that he was supposed to rob. He got stuck, and the person who ran the loft controlled the temperature, controlled how much food he could eat, controlled how much water he could drink, controlled how much air he got, all these things. And you saw the man suffer, suffer, suffer the whole movie. And from the suffering, he created like a bunch of paintings. And it's a bit extreme, but I think that even though he came out of that loft eventually, I think that art doesn't have to be suffering. I don't feel like it always has to come from a place of suffering. I feel like it can come from a place of growth, of harmony. I feel like it can come from a place of resiliency, and realizing that that your perceptions can be reality, and that they're not just your imagination. And that's what's important to me. That's what I want to bring about with my art. And I'm really hoping that eventually I find a wonderful community that feels that way as well. I don't know what we'll build once we find one another, but it's just something I've been on the hunt for. And I guess you can say what's important to me right now, besides my loved ones, besides spending time with the trees and with the water, is finding a community. And I want to focus on that more than I want to focus on fame and making a whole ton of money. That probably will not, join me in my grave when it's all over. Yeah, it took a dark turn, but it is reality in a way. Anyhow, I'm going to finish up with my paper making here. I am wishing you all wonder and room to be yourself from the side of the world. Adios.